Running it right back. This time we're headed over to Haven. Immortals with a crushing victory over XSET on Icebox. Now XSET have to recoup here. My name's Tanner Metro, joined by Kieran Ito Price still. And we've got just about 2 more games. We can't count XSET out, right? Icebox maybe not their map. They took down TSM, one of the powerhouses in NA Valorant. So now that we go over to Haven, what can we expect here?
Well, I don't have the stats pulled up, unfortunately, but you have to think, again, XSET are an amazing team. They've made it this far for a reason. It's not like they just completely, you know, got lucky with bracket luck. No, they had to take on TSM, like you mentioned. What we can expect, though, is a big question mark. You know, one thing that I think XSET did really uniquely on Icebox is the fact that they ran a Cypher and Thwyfo, and that was really cool because he kind of cammed up flanks and was able to watch without having to commit a player or commit an alarm bot or a turret or anything. So I think we're not going to be seeing him bring out the Killjoy or something, but it's kind of a relative question mark because, like you mentioned, we haven't seen a ton of Haven. Other things to look out for is potentially Sky doesn't seem all too unlikely, but you know, you're not going to be seeing a Yor. I think it's going to be kind of par for the course. Maybe a Brimstone if we're feeling crazy. Maybe a Sky if we're feeling crazy. But I'm not saying a Viper or anything like that.
Yeah, as much as maybe the XSET fans would love to see we did on that beloved pick of the Viper, kind of making it that staple almost tied to his name as a player. Now, you mentioned the Brimstone, and one of the things I'm pretty sure Brimstone smokes, you can't arrow into them. You can't use that recon bolt to actually get information inside the smokes. So I'm kind of wondering if we will slowly start to see that, especially on Haven, when I think Brimstone was everybody's, if you're a controller player, kind of everybody's first love. You're dropping down those smokes, you're using that iPad. Now he's a bit more viable. It kind of counters, not completely, but kind of counters some of that post-plant play from the Sova. So I'm interested to see if we'll see it. We already see we did locking in that Omen, though, as we jump into the agent select. Will we see the Brimstone? Please, somebody give me something here. Let's get spicy with it here in the quarterfinals, Zito, as IMT still hanging on to 2 picks. Chemicals back on the Jet. That is a very, very scary player, and I am so excited to see the op in his hands this game.
You can't help but be excited for it. I'm pretty sure JC Stanley goes Omen here. Yeah. Nah, man, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if people are woke to the idea of Brimstone just yet. I was also looking at the side of XSET for their stats as well. Obviously, the info that we have of this new Immortal squad is a little bit more limited. Again, they just added Chemicals and Nature to the roster, but they have been on fire. They upset, I call it an upset. They take over map number 1 in a very dominant fashion and looking to do the same on Haven. But this isn't their map pick. It's what XSET continue to call their home for a while. 61% win rate makes it their 2nd best map in the pool, right behind Bind. I think this one could be absolutely crazy, Tanner.
Like I said at the beginning, I think we're going to be looking at, if not a game 3, a very competitive game 2 here between IMT and XSET. And once more, if you guys are unfamiliar, these teams have already qualified for the close qualifier, where next week they will be battling it out for that $50,000 prize pool, or for the larger half, as they've all also qualified to be in the money. It's just whether you're taking that number 1 spot where you get a handsome bit of cash, or that 8 seed spot where you're only walking away with $1,000 for your squad. Now, seeding is important with this one, and the winner will go on to play Sentinels in the semi-finals tomorrow, as it's a creep up towards A. XSET squad going to be pushing up right behind this Owl drone. Shock Dart, they're going to get a bit of information. That one up towards Heaven. They're going to storm onto the site, and it's going to be the retake game coming out from INT, as that Spike looks to be planted down. JC Stani playing right outside the side. Gangsta kind of corralled up top with the smoke there. Not going to get too much ever since back from this. And for XSET, they have assumed their post-plant position. Shot up, though, as a player in the last one. Nice paranoia, gonna lock everybody down there blind as they push onto the side. And it's BCJ for 2. It's XSET for 5. What a pistol round.
Everything happens in the blink of an eye. Tanner, it's a time-altered phrase. It just Everything moves so quickly, man. It's unreal. I don't even understand how you're able to keep up with the pace at sometimes like this, but I mean, hey, there's a reason you're the play-by-play caster and not me. It happens in the blink of an eye again, but XSET, it goes their way. An amazing set of kills from BCJ and Aaron in particular. Immortals felt so respectful there. It was weird. You saw BCJ, what he did is toss out an aggressive dart over towards A main and completely back up. They really didn't even want to try tempering the beast whatsoever, and they played retake fully. Everything seemed to go their way afterwards. XSET, all the gunfights, and it will continue as a tradition into this next round.
Spike planted.
Once more, it's a free take. A couple of kills have come through, but all the XSET side looking to be flawless.
I mean,
Here.
What can you do? What can you? Oh, okay. You could pop the grape of one. Gangsta with the sheriff in hand. Unfortunately, not going to remain deathless for a few rounds in this as XSET close out another. Now, contrary to what we saw in the last, it wasn't the force from the losing team in pistol. IMT, play it conservatively. They're going to have rifles in this one, and it's that bonus round coming out of XSET. If they continue to play their way that they're playing, though, those SMGs get a whole lot of value, right? That run and gun style, closing the gap and just getting right on top of your opponent is where that Spectre is really strong. So this still could be anybody's round here with the aggression that we've seen from XSET thus far.
Revealing area.
We've seen these bonus rounds be a little bit spooky for either side, like you mentioned. They're switching up their style of how they play towards A. They've kept one over towards short, and while they did do their usual dart towards A main, they also sent another player maybe to help out, provide some moral support, but they're not even going to be used for this round. The action will be a quick split through a garage, and JC Stanley, as he weaves, ducks between the smokes, will actually not find anything. He's overwhelmed by Weeded. The spike is planted, and once again, XSET just completely clean house. This bonus is looking great, or at least it did up until Immortals out of nowhere show up with two of their own. Weeded takes a very scary fight, yet somehow wins it over Shot-Up, who's been on fire. And finally, the fire will be put out. XSET, they take round number 3. A bit of a bonus, like you said, Tanner. They did have one Phantom ready for the fight, but it's been picked up, retrieved, brought right back into PRR's hands. I believe it was PRR at least. Either way, it doesn't matter who has it, because everybody is going to be wearing Gucci. As we're going to be seeing a probable, not a bonus round here, but definitely a save from Immortals, and the chance for those Spectres equipped on XSET's side to be even more lethal than they normally are.
You see the hover as well for some of the Arsenal. Immortals just trying to buy what they can to make sure they can still buy in the next. Chemical is just sitting on that shorty, wants to be able to afford an operator at some point in this game. And I love this approach. XSET, we see 2 Spectres on this team again, and it's on those players that can get right in your face and punish you for letting them close the gap. As the ultimate comes through, Showstopper gonna find one. He's still on the side, and he's mowing him down. It's Aaron and the rest of the squad to take it. Now Shot-Up goes for the hero play. He tries to Batman down, but a 3K over to the Rays, and XSET firing on all cylinders here on Haven now in full force.
This is the XSET that we were expecting to see, hoping to see after what they just did yesterday. Immortals, they're down by a little bit, but this is another round for them to recoup their losses and start again. They will be buying full rifles into it. They have the operator and playing chemicals, and they're actually really close to a number of very strong ultimates. So I'm expecting you're going to see Gangsta push out to find that ult over immediately. I'm not sure if there's going to be any punish from Thwifo, but it's important to keep your eye out because those ultimate orbs are going to be real scary to deal with.
Ooh, nice lineup there, but it doesn't matter. Shot-Up will fall. That's Vandal to Spectre once more. Why even upgrade if you don't have to? The SMGs are just working here, and you have to imagine how IMT is feeling about it. Now, Nature is finally able to silence Aaron here as that spike gets planted. PureR trying to play aggressive once more with the Spectre in hand. IMT able to battle back quite a bit, now find themselves with an advantage as that recon dart goes through. Spike going to be pinged out, and they should be able to spray through the smoke. Rifle picks up the kill onto Chemicals, now in a 2v2
Oh my
with
God.
low HPs. They try and clear out the site. JC's down, he
It's
sits
halfway.
him down and weed it. It's halfway, they're just gonna stick it. He doesn't have the angle. IMT. It was sloppy, but not only do they clean everybody up, they finally pick up a round.
At long last, indeed, they do get the round together, but what cost, man? It feels so expensive. They don't have to use ultimates, sure, that's great, that's wonderful, but they don't have enough money to really justify a full buy into it. Well, no, they can justify it, they can full buy all they want, but it's not going to be pretty. And now, surely, Chemicals has to extend for the ult orb here to get that Bladestorm into play, and I think XSET have a good... Whoa, this is actually so cool. XSET, I'm pretty sure, have a read that Chemicals probably wants to try to get that ult orb towards A to pop the Bladestorm. And so they've completely kept things up towards C, and they're going to try to up the pace. This is such a great call by them. And if they move quick enough, they should be, again, perfectly rewarded for their efforts here. They're already moving in. Finally, the first kill goes their way, but Shot Up, as well as Nature, are fighting back. 3 kills in the blink of an eye. What has gone wrong?
Unfortunately, that one kill just not enough here for XSET. And you called it. They had a play in mind. It just gets completely stunted as they stormed onto that C site. Now Gangsta going to be holding it down on A. Should be able to catch the rotation from coming on over. He hears the stampede. There's a kill from back site.
Lord.
And Gangsta caught with his bow out, trying to get some info. IMT, they cut the deficit in half now, 2-4 in rounds. And this has to feel good. When you feel that momentum, you win 4 in a row, and XSET just feel unstoppable. Then IMT, they find a way to be that immovable force. They pick up 2 rounds in a row, and they're kind of space jamming that momentum. They're stealing it away from XSET. Now in this round, it's rifles across the board once more. XSET straying away from that SMG strategy. And this is where we get to see those riflers come online. I'm looking at you, Chemicals. What can you do in this round, especially when they're all stacked up towards A for this jet? Oh no, it's Gangsta for 2!
What just happened, Gangsta? Out of nowhere, again, he just pulls off a crazy solo kill. And this sort of thing is what I mean by the wild card factor, is that out of nowhere, Immortals can end the round in 20 seconds, seemingly when they feel like it. Rifo to pick up the pieces. We'll get 2 kills! Massive at that! But at the end of the day, it's nothing to yell about. I'll be telling myself that after he hit those 2 bangers, but the round will be closed out without any further ones. Immortals. Oh, they move so quickly, man. I feel like, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that, but it's well-timed aggression. What I think what was so interesting is that Gangsta just, he said screw it to the cyber cage. He walked right through it. Or not Gangsta, excuse me. It was actually BCJ who ran through it. He said screw it, and yet still, Gangsta just dealt with it so well. It's, I don't know. This sort of pace is something that's going to consistently mess with the minds of XSET. Apparently mess with my mind as well. The next one has already begun. A trade for a trade. That's being lethal so far.
And they're just trading back and forth here. They don't want to give up the lead. Nice ult on the backside as Aaron picks up another with the showstopper. This C site once more opened up. This time, XSET on top when it comes to manpower. Gangsta's still alive, so you still have to be wary. Pushing up towards garage. All 3 members, notably, playing out towards long. Nature going to try and back him up. Only a satchel charge here on the race. So from downtown, you just have to hope you hit the shots. Recon Bolt going to go through. They know 1 is there, maybe 2, as they hear the shots come on through. 1 remains for the defuse, and the shots are just pure. As XSET grab another round, they don't give up that lead. They don't allow IMT to tie things up. They're going to hang on for now, and they have to keep doing just that. The economy for Immortals is starting to crumble.
Only for a couple of rounds. Can't exactly. I don't think they force it here. Shut up. He can definitely buy. He has more than enough for this next round here. And I think they're going to be buying down just so they have enough for round number 9. As we head on to number 8. Or, wait, no, this is number 9. Round number 10 is probably what we're going to be looking at here. They have forced up 4 Vandals. Let's just go ahead and shy away from the math right now. Counting is hard. Right now, XSET are looking to count to 6. 4 players in a conga line formation, and the numbers seem to favor the bold. Shut Up has to back up, concede the space, or fight for it with his life, and his life will be taken instead. XSET move up.
Weighted with a huge kill on that Empress. Shot Up now down. XSET with the man up, make it 2 chemicals though, trying to even the odds, and he's gonna do just that. What a god with the knives. A 3v3, but 10 HP here for the Jet. They're going to fake the defuse once more and try and draw out the rest of this XSET team. They do just that, but they pay for it with their lives. Now Gangsta needs to come up clutch, but it's Dwipo to close it out, and it was looking back and forth either way, but XSET on this C side have just been so clean when it comes to closing.
Oh my lord. I feel like I need a cigarette after that round. I don't even smoke. Right now, the smokes, the carriers of them have been phenomenal. I know JC Stanny, for the most part, has been quiet, sitting at 4-9, and I said that he had a bit of a rough tournament to end off the year, but he has been on fire, and I feel like he's gotten a lot of very important picks for his team. That round, a little bit more muted. We did sitting on top right now at 10-5. We're seeming okay right now. Okay, what in the world is that from Aaron? Through the door. I need to toss it over to you, man. I feel like I'm commentators cursing this one. Immortals, they cannot set the pace at all.
They have been struggling a bit to try and match the aggression here from XSET, although they did pick up a couple of rounds. Here are going to get tagged out. Needs to back away. Still shining bright like a diamond, though, as he walks away from this B site. Nice shock dart, going to take Nature down to 35 HP, and the Cypher no longer safe on this site, even less now. As it's a 4v5 once more in XSET's favor. We've seen them come out on top in this position. That Paranoia was used to try and back everybody away from the B side, and I mean, if you're XSET, sure, why not just go right back to the drawing board? You got so much utility. Now Haven is your oyster. We see Aaron creeped up over towards this garage, just trying to stop anybody from flanking. Base site completely conceded here by Immortals, maybe looking to play the retake.
30 seconds
I think they
left.
re-exec this here. Yeah, look at this, Immortals. They're thinking, oh my god, XSET are going to do something crazy, but no, they're just going to go right back to B, Tanner. You don't have to overthink it at all. Just go right back to the site. You're going to try to deny the plant as much as you possibly can, and Gangsta will actually be rewarded with a kill because of it. Time is of the essence. They need to get the spike down immediately, and Immortals realize it, so they're going to close the distance to their own volition as well. Spike not actually going to be denied entirely, so it still does get planted, but Immortals have numbers in spades here, and they will have now the round in the palm of their hands. A late response from Immortals as they shut down the clever execute attempt by XSET, and they move on to 4. This defensive half is looking a little bit better for them, Tanner, and why I think that was so good from Immortals too is that originally they fell for the bait by XSET hook, line, and sinker, but it was a great call and response and such a great use of that Hunter's Fury in particular. They knew that time was going to be so rough from XSET, and so they committed the bodies. They fell for the cause, because now they have the big number up top that's only going to increase for them.
I wonder if we're going to see a bit more retake on B from Immortals. It doesn't look like it to be the case in this round, but both times they've had to retake, they've won the round. So maybe a bit more forward aggression on one of these other sites, just like we saw earlier on that A site where Gangstas and Chemicals was able to hold down A long, pushing back to the side and picking up a couple of kills. Looking like that's going to be the case here. Chemicals goes huge for one. Nature is here to back him up. He dashes away, and 2 members are already off the board for XSET. They toss out the paint shells. They're going to look to regather themselves back towards the spawn.
They're already rotating.
It's a 3v5, and you called it. They're already rotating. They're not sold that XSET are still going to execute A, and they're able to just play this 5-point stance once more. Retake on B, nice and easy, as they do have Chemicals creeping over from that A link. C completely locked down, and nobody is getting by that Cypher, hanging out over towards A long. XSET, this is not looking to be in their favor by any means of the word. As Chemical's gonna go wide on that shot. That's what it takes, a missed shot, but now it's all down to the remaining 2. Dwipo will fall. It's all down to 1. What can Aaron get done? He finds 1 kill, but it doesn't matter. IMT grab a fifth, and they're looking to go even
Last
at the half.
round in the half.
It looks very, very possible for them at that. XSET are, again,
economy.
running low on the funds. Exactly. They don't have money at all. I mean, obviously they're going to force. They have no choice, but it's going to be that yard sale buy that you always like to bring up. It's almost, you know, a little bit better than your typical yard sale because they do have some heavy-hitting weapons. They have a Spectre as well as a Stinger, which are nothing to scoff at either, but, I mean, Immortals are on point with their rotates right now, and I don't think any amount of artillery is really going to make that difference if they're being hard red like this. Immortals' calling has been on point right now, and XSET need to try to maybe change up the pace or give another bit of love towards Garage or towards C in general. This is the right call. I really like this from XSET, but they need to win the fights to boot. Oh no.
Now the C-site storm once more. Kills gonna be traded back and forth as both jets off the board. Now both jets no longer alive here. Aaron gonna go ahead and dash on into the site now. All
Lord.
up to shot up in a 1v3 to go even at the half. The spike plant going to be faked. And against all odds with the yard sale buy, that seems to be the key
Switching
ingredients,
sides.
the chemical X to create the Powerpuff Girls for XSET as they go into the half 7-5. They are ahead, but they're not out of the woodworks just yet, Ito. They're down 1 in the series, so they need to close out this defensive half.
It's going to be an uphill battle for them. All things considered, Immortals did pretty fantastic. Now, you can always talk about how Haven might be a little bit more attacking-sided just because of the fact that there are 3 bomb sites. That is a gimmick to be very well aware of. I am more than aware of that, but at the same time, Immortals, when we saw them on their attack, they were looking phenomenal. I'm not foreseeing this as a big challenge, but XSET, at least towards the latter stages of this half, are looking a little bit more poised and a little bit more confident. And obviously, they had that amazing streak of rounds towards the beginning. Again, we have to realize that XSET do definitely have it in them to, at any given moment, take this map. They did it yesterday. Surely they can do it again today, but Immortals are providing a very tall order, a very tall challenge. And right now, they want to bring the order straight to the hands of XSET, and they're struggling to deal with it. They have to dance around those dark covers, but still, XSET will remain weaker as time goes by. Shot up leads a charge, pushing into enemy territory, and he will actually find one. Backs out and stays alive.
And the dismiss is just insult to injury as
Unreal.
IMT close it out, but Shot Up having a phenomenal round there, pushing, like you said, into the defender's territory. He gets into a little bit of trouble, doesn't get the one tap, and is able to dismiss away. That is the power of the Reyna and the power of Shot Up on this Reyna. IMT, now they close the gap. They haven't had a lead just yet in this game. They could grab a tie here off of the buy. It looks like a full save coming out from XSET. And then we could quite possibly, right? We've seen how IMT, they like to play. It's the controlled chaos, and it worked on Icebox. Why can't it work here on Haven against this aggressive team in XSET? Now the paint shell is going to be used. Shot Up looking to grab some information up towards B. The spike yet to be picked up, and I would imagine once that B side gets cleared out, that may quite possibly be the play. Chemicals, a rifle in his hands is pretty good. The right click from the Stinger can't necessarily say the same. A Shot Up into the first contact over towards this B side. Able to find one, dismissed to get away. 46 HP, just gonna get run down. And a nice kill there by Pure R. Should be able to walk out and grab that weapon. Shock darts into heaven. Not gonna get too much value, but it does force everybody from IMT away, and over to the A side they will go.
That's a huge chase too. Pure R being able to trade that one out is maybe not round changing, but definitely going to help secure those fundamentals that XSET have overall been so good at. Now the site has been taken without any further complications. Immortals, like you mentioned, will get that spike down. What comes next though? Maybe a shock dart into your leg. It just barely misses actually hitting that Omen's leg, but explodes right in front of him. Immortals, XSET begin their retake in, and it will promptly end with Gangsta having his way. We'll see a bit of a spray down, bit of a response, but Immortals finding the logical conclusion. At 7-7, things are way more lethal on rounds that I would otherwise give to the attacking side of Immortals. they're making it close. I really have to respect the gall on XSET, because they are chasing these frags, and I do think by all means they have the right idea. Rifles is going to be a completely different story though, and since Immortals are also going to be stuck on those stingers, what I'm expecting here is maybe a pop play up. And XSET, they need to be more than ready for this. The pace will be changing here.
Shadows traveling.
A really strange purchase coming into this round where you have to force up. It's not that bonus round. They just grab SMGs just to have them. And they look to storm the C site. We'll see if it pays off. Sweden trying to get that paranoia out. He is going to die for it. Twyfo in the back of the site, though, has that spray down with the Phantom in hand. A 1-for-1 overall as the recon bolt goes down. The spike yet to be planted. It is a 3v4. Shot up, feeling comfortable. Going to pop the Empress. As the information comes through, he's able to find a kill, dismiss away. Twyfo not able to trade it back just yet as Gangsta trades it down. Now it's all up to one. Gangsta only buying a sheriff in this round. He will get run down and sprayed down. As XSET get back on the board, they reclaim their lead. But now we get to see things get spicy. IMT going to force up some rifles here now that they can afford it. And this is where we actually have a game on our hands. XSET. Once more, they need to pull this one away, Ito. They're down 1-0 in the series. And although it's seeding and you're still qualified, you want to continue to be the Titan Slayer that they proved to be yesterday.
It's going to be good practice, too, because Immortals aren't going to get really any different. This is going to be good practice for if you meet them in the future for that closed qualifier, like you mentioned. All in all, that was a great response from XSET. I do want to give, in particular, a shout-out to Twyfo. He peeled and stayed alive for so long when Immortals were consistently pushing the boundaries, and although his poor teammate on site went down relatively early, he kind of clutched it out and stayed alive. It's the small things that are going to make the difference like that. Being able to stay alive, even if you don't necessarily pop off and get 5 million kills. If you're just a body, you can just really do so much for your team. And like I said, that pace change is done with. And it's going to be now a new form of Immortals that we look at here. Controlled chaos, right? This is that slow start into a potential burst here. And do XSET have the right read on it? Because the fact that they're bringing rotates over makes it seem like they do, but can they actually do anything about denying the spike to start with?
V5 retake. Chemicals going to kick things off. Jet v Jet. Chemicals comes out on top. Imposter down. And IMT find themselves sitting versus more, looking to top up. Okay, we're gonna try and come out. Satchel charges there. He pushed out on the side, but he gets mowed down. Nature. That BCJ up in heaven, raining it down. JC Sani waiting for him to push out, but it's Nature to find the kill. And not flawless, but pretty darn close. IMT tie things up once more.
Again, just such a good exec from Immortals. Now, look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm the deity who knows everything about Valorant, but at what point do XSET start realizing that conceding and playing retake doesn't always seem to be doing the trick? I feel like some of the best rounds that we've seen from XSET in both this as well as map 1 has been when they kind of dig their heels in a little bit more and kind of, you know, allow the boat to be rocked but still fight for it. Twyfo, I think, was, again, a great demonstration of it in just that last round that they won, where he was staying over towards CT, providing a lot of pressure, but completely giving it up doesn't seem to be doing the trick for them. And hey, maybe, again, I'm not completely right here. They do fight a little bit more aggressive towards A long and get punished.
I know exactly.
Now Immortals have basically all the turret to play for. Against pistols, though.
Yeah, I was to say, it is against pistols, so I think you're just maybe hoping to get a lucky couple of headshots peeking over towards A long or close the gap and find a right-click corner that you can just sit in and try and pick up a classic kill. This is going to be IMT grabbing a lead,
Enemy remaining.
which starts to get scary because of what is at stake. Now it's all up to Twyfo. Bucky in hand. Bucky OP. In that last round, it was one away from flawless. We'll see if
Spike
IMT
planted.
can net themselves a flawless round here, and they are going to do just that. I thought maybe Twyfo gets one with the Bucky. Not going to be the case. IMT grab a lead. They've got a couple of ultimates to further cement that lead should they choose to use them here.
Oh my god, he wasn't even given the time of day to get a shot off.
No.
Shot up. Amazing reaction time, man. Absolutely cracked. Alright, well, as I try to get over that crazy peak to end things up here, let's readjust for this next round. And It's like you said, Tanner, so many ultimates about to come in play in favor of XSET. Not to say Immortals don't have tools to play with. They do have a Hunter's Fury as well as a Blade Storm, but the sheer numbers go the way of XSET. So I'm expecting, hopefully, a pretty impressive retake if they're not even going to continue to fight with this. But I really do like the idea of them fighting hard for it. There's a Hunter's Fury, and that's going to be their move to path right on into the site, completely overwhelm, and hopefully find a couple of kills in their favor. As we glance at the kill feed, we see it does go the way of Immortals to start with. But there it is. The we did factor only is going to be good to find one kill. That spike should be planted. And without further issue, XSET will once again have to mount a monumental retake with the numbers not in their favor. Things are scary.
And it's the post plant once more. This is where XSET has struggled on this retake. This time playing out towards C-Long. It is planted in what looks like a defaulted area, so maybe not having the best angle. Is nice shock dart to try and clear things out. Cage comes down, the tag comes through though. They should just be able to spray BCJ down, but Dwifo making sure he stays alive. Another fake to come through, the spike not yet halfway. And in the 1v2 with so much info, Immortals just might lose it, and they do!
I cannot believe it! Shutting me right up. I was saying before, XSET, they haven't been amazing on the retakes, but right there is exactly what you need to see. We're looking at an even game here, Tanner, and with a rejuvenated XSET behind it, this could now go either way. We're near the finishing line, man. Yes, it could go 12-12 and we could be looking at overtime, but for right now, I can't even tell who has the lead. Now, if you were to look at the artillery, I would give the edge over to Immortals, just because XSET are working with a Bucky, and a Spectre, but they're going to more than make up for it. They're going to try to close this distance and apparently not be all too successful while dealing with it. It's a good read once again by Immortals to find that opening kill onto the Duelist, means that no more Blade Storm for this round.
It feels bad off the back end of a round win. It's SMGs, it's a Bucky on a Dwifo. Sure, playing the tight corner, so could make something of it. Oh, now has since upgraded to the operator. Maybe trading. I didn't see where that one came from. Was able to pick that up. Paranoia comes through. Nobody pushing on the back end though, so it doesn't do a whole lot. And Aaron is just going to swing it, and XSET are just looking to win it. Now in a 1-3 JC stand, he can't get it done. XSET back on top here. Double digits first.
That Paranoia would have been huge, but yeah, they weren't even close to it. That could have been massive though. It cleared out all the big problem angles. It's like they expected him to still be blind or something. But no, it's not a case of like, oh, check your corners. It's more of a fact that, you know, right now, XSET are starting to adapt really, really quickly. That was such a scary round for them because of how pivotal it was because of that eco. They could have been staring down possibly 11 rounds if they lost it. But now they're going to be the ones in favor, both economically as well as in rounds. An operator is going to be brought into play here, and I'm not really sure what I can expect for usage out of it. Seems to be located towards C, so I think this will allow Dwifo. It will free him up to maybe move towards Garage if he feels so inclined, or maybe help out Weeded over towards B. The pressure is, well, pretty defaulted. You know, this is about as standard as a default as you can get. The next move that I think XSET are going to be looking for here is, now that Ultimate Orbs really aren't going to be that much in contention, they're just seeing what's free. So they'll toss a Cyber Cage out here and walk up as far as they can. It's going to be another burst play more than likely. And this, again, is something that XSET have been a little bit scary about dealing with, but I've been proven wrong once. Let's see if they can do it again to maintain this lead.
A nice recon bolt though to get some information as they start to push on up. Spike yet to go down, will now do so. It's going to be a full 5v5 retake once more. And as you said, XSET have fallen a little flat in these situations, and Nature looking to make sure that that rings true. A beautiful kill up top into heaven onto Aaron. One more. Going to try and head on up. It's Weeded assuming that position, and it's XSET down in a 4v5. They are up one round, so this is just for the tie here. At double digits as the cage comes through, the spray comes down, and Dwight was able to turn it back, but Nature goes good for a double, and Gangsta to close it out. IMT tie us up once more, and neither of these teams are giving up just yet.
Neither team is giving up, but more than that, neither team is able to put together a stable economy. Immortals have remained the winners just because they have won the bulk of the rounds so far. But XSET, well, it's not so nice for them. It's not a sunny forecast. Things are looking awfully gloomy as they do have to force up, and they will bring the operator onto the table. So, I mean, realistically, they can easily win this. Not easily win this. They can win this. All right, I'm not going to say easily. It's much too early to say anything. But they're off to a wonderful start with bringing the operator into play. It's something they brought out a couple of times on Icebox, and it did them good for a couple of rounds. But, well, you need to see that magic once again brought. Never mind, excuse me. That was an error. It was actually Immortals who brought out the double operator. So, hey, maybe trying to copy XSET style, or maybe trying to copy Immortals style. Mimicry is the highest form of flattery. And right now, this is looking an awful lot like a push-up we've seen previously. A burst up, nothing too surprising. Let's go again, see how it works.
There it is, go again. Paranoia goes through, and it's Nature to kick things off once more. Shot up right behind, and they know we did in the back of the site. It's all IMT, all everything. Gangsta finds the fourth, and Thwipo needs to find four himself. Chemical sits him down, and it's the controlled chaos to pay off once more for the Immortals.
Immortals have just... If you want a textbook example of how to do these burst plays, these cut noise and then immediately push up a site, they have incredible executes just from what I've seen so far this game. And XSET are just blindsided by it. And thing is, in that round, they were doing what I mentioned before about how I want them to fight a little bit harder for it. They had one player just anchor in the back of sight, die for the cause, but it wasn't good enough. It just goes to show how overwhelming Immortals are. So what's the answer? How do XSET push past this ditch that they've kind of been, well, I wouldn't say dug themselves in, but definitely have been put in forcefully? The answer, well, might not come at all. XSET have forced up in this round, but it doesn't look promising. Especially since Immortals seem to be shying away from even going the direction where the majority of these players are. Keep in mind, on that radar, the C site is completely free. And this is where that burst play is once again going to be very, very fruitful.
And C-Site wide open here. Zero utility. It's XSET looking to play full retake. And we've seen how this goes. IMT on the post plant has been lights out here on Haven. They now realize nobody on the site, nobody even close. As it should be just about full utility, minus the Cypher util, as XSET rotates over towards this C site. Everyone's playing off. In the clutch situation, XSET's come out on top. It's not looking to be the case as it's IMT and Gangsta gonna go friendly fire on it. Aaron trying to turn it around, trying to make that hurt, trying to punish them for that kill from the Hunter's Fury. Diffuse comes through.
Huge
Rico
start.
Bolt gonna be taken down. Shock Dart gonna find the kill and Nature to close it out. 2 rounds in a row, he opens it up. And in this one, on match point, he will close it out. IMT are looking to take this series, and the economy for XSET might just allow them.
This is just unbelievable what we're witnessing right now. Immortals, I cannot stress it enough. They felt like such an unknown factor heading into it because they picked up Chemicals in Nature. But they have been phenomenal so far. Sure, they're not top of the scoreboard right now, but their impact has been undeniable. And Chemicals, of course, you've seen the highlight plays that he has gotten. This game isn't done yet, but we're really well on our way to getting there. Once again, guess what Immortals are doing here? Slow burst up. This time, though, it's been spotted early. You'll see the rotate come through immediately. It's actually going to be a teleport into heaven on top of it. Immortals win the opening 2 fights, and that completely opens things up here.
The Empress from shot up. XSET down to their last 3. Aaron turns it around for 1 as they're forced away from the site because of the information. A nice tag onto Pure R. Now that's
Oh, that's
spike going
huge.
down. Shot up finds one. Shot up finds another. They're looking to close it out right here, right now in 2-0 fashion. It's 18 HP separating these teams,
Attackers
but
win.
it's shot up. Who better than to close it out 10-13 here on Haven?
Immortals have done it. They have taken down what I thought was the Godslayer team, XSET. It looked beautiful while doing it. A complete textbook performance on Icebox, plus whatever that amazing mess was on Haven. So many amazing executes. Defense, it was a little bit more sloppy, but that's Haven. But there's so much good to take from that one from Immortals. For such a fresh new team with these new faces brought in. They have chemistry in the past, chemicals as well as nature. You know, they were on a team in the past, SOAR, like you mentioned, but they are looking right at home here on Immortals.
Absolutely. I mean, right at home on Icebox, right at home on Immortals, and right at home when you're staring at the face of defeat. To be able to battle back against this team that is riding this incredible high from taking down one of those Titans in XSET. Now, hats off, obviously, to Immortals. Absolutely fantastic performance from them. A 2-0 in this one. If you guys missed it, or I'm assuming a lot of people have come over already from that first stream, but NRG did 2-0 Gen G, and Envy ended up 2-0ing Luminosity. So they finished a bit before us as we get to take a peek at what our semifinals are going to be. NRG taking on Envy. Immortals move forward to try and take down the Titans in Sentinels and be Titan Slayers themselves. And then on Sunday, we've obviously got that finals matchup. Once more, it is for seeding. So for XSET, they do live to fight another day. Tomorrow is not that day. It is Immortals moving forward to the semifinals. But I think hats off to all four teams that we got to see on this stream here, Ito. I mean, the score lines in 2-0 don't do either of them justice. And although, again, you look at some of the score lines individually, whether it be 13-7, 13-4, whatever, there were so many moments where you're just holding your breath because anything can happen. And I think that made for an incredibly exciting quarterfinals.
That's what you love to see. This game has been so explosive, amazing executes, holds, plays from every single team that we've seen so far today. If you finish top 8, you've already qualified for the closed qualifier. You can go home head held high. They still did amazing overall, all of these teams that we saw. But above and beyond, it seemed to be Immortals who just wiped away this series and looked beautiful throughout the entire day. It's just unreal. And of course, same story with Sentinels. They were a little further back here, but they look beautiful as well. Again, hats off to all these teams. The 4 that we saw today, well deserving of being here this late in the tournament. It's just that, unfortunately, you have to choose a couple to go forward. And Immortals, they're looking like the better team. You cannot doubt that.
Yeah, and it's fun to see, too, because there's a handful, I think you probably count on one hand, how many teams didn't make any changes kind of coming into 2021, or at the very least, the open qualifiers here for the VALORANT Champions Tour. So it's nice to see one of these rosters actually working out, because you never know what you're going to get. You see a lot of rosters fill up with free agents, and it doesn't quite pan out. There's a lot of moving pieces, and aside from player changes, you love to see what T1 is trying to do, and not changing up their roster. They want to keep the chemistry, and they just swap up the roles, right? There's a whole lot of moving parts to 2021, and I think this open qualifiers, this is just the beginning. It's crazy to think about what we've got as far as 3 open qualifiers, 3 closed qualifiers, then Masters to look forward to. And that is just in the first couple of months here. There's a couple of those, right? We've seen them in the videos for the past couple of days. Riv breaking that down. VALORANT is in its prime. It's the most exciting, and I can't wait to see this one. As we do have that sweet play, the Mike and Ike sweet play of the day ready for you guys, jumping on into this one. And there's so many. There is so many, but unfortunately, Ito, we can only pick one. What do you know?
Oh, it's gotta be. What in the world, man? Yeah, go replay that one a couple of times.
Yeah.
Do it while he is rotating. That way it looks more than the 360. It's unreal. Deserving of the sweet play of the day. It's flashy. It won the round. It was from a winning team. What more could you want? I don't even know. It's just well-deserved, So congrats to Sick for not only being a monster in this series and my personal MVP pick for Sentinels, but also getting the nice play of the day. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, sweet play of the day. It kind of backs up all of the performances that we've seen throughout the tournament from him and makes you think. Makes you think. Oh, what's his equipment looking like, Ito? What's his equipment looking like? Is he rocking the HyperX? HyperX is actually one of the partners here for the VCT, the Valorant Champions Tour, guys. And I couldn't hound enough. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. Guys, every day, billions of people wake up, eat, and fire up a game as part of their daily routine, especially right now. Everybody's home. Whether it be console, PC, casual, or pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Whether it be microphones, headsets, keyboards, mice, this beautiful mouse pad that allows me to be an ARM player, even though I'm not the best Valorant player in the world.
Oh,
you see it
come
there.
on now.
There's so much to it for HyperX, guys. So huge shout out to them, and make sure you guys do check them out as a whole, because it is just quality at its finest. And now we've got something a little different for you guys here. We are done. We're closing out the show for the day. It's the quarterfinals. It's done. Tomorrow we're going to be right back here, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we look to kick off the semifinals and see who's going to move forward to Sunday's matchups. But before we do that, if you guys are joining us from across the pond, we've got some pretty good news for you guys, as we do have that Valorant Oceania tournament actually popping up here. So Riot Games is actually partnering for a 2021 Valorant Oceania tour. And you guys can go over to letsplay.live/VOT. That's going to give you guys all of the information on how that one shakes down. So, you know, like I said, if you're joining us from across the pond, that is only open avenues. And at the end of all of this, unlike 2020, Ito, we're looking to be once we get towards the actual champions tournament and, you know, joining the fight.
I know, and a lot more than just that to play for.
Yeah.
Also 10,000 Aussie bucks to play for per stage as well. I want to mention that. It's an important factor.
Right.
Lots of good Valorant to be played, whether it's by you or if you're just watching it by the people who are paid to play it at the highest level. Valorant is just extremely exciting, but all good things must come to an end, and that for tonight will be right now. Tanner, thank you so much for joining me. I know I fumbled over my words here and there, but man, you were crisp, you were clean all day. I absolutely love working with you. Do you have any final thoughts, though, before we close things out?
My final thoughts are the semifinals are only going to be more fire than what we saw today, guys. On the table, we've got NRG Esports taking on Envy, and Immortals trying to take down that #1 as seeded team in Sentinels. It's going to be... It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a fiery day, but as Ito said, we do have to close out the show. Guys, we're going to be right back here 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night to kick off the show, the semifinals of the first Challenger Open Qualifier in the Valorant Champions Tour. Thank you guys for tuning in, and on behalf of myself, Ito, and the entire production crew who puts this together here at NSG, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow.